Good morning. I'm Velma Lomax, and I'm the Regional Director for Southern California. I think I've told you before, I was the teacher coach for Team 3925 Circuit of Life at Ventura High School. And we started in our first year, we were rookie all-stars. And we had a great team, but we, like all teams starting, we struggled with how to do it and how to get it going and how to make it successful. And today we're very fortunate to be able to interview Dylan Goodwin, who was on our team originally. And he is going to tell you his story and how he actually became the manager of 3925 and then carried those skills on through college. So Dylan, welcome.
Thank you, Alma. Thank you.
It's going to be a real casual here, Dylan. I just want you to tell us, how did you get involved with FIRST?
Yeah, so I think I got involved with FIRST when I was a freshman in high school, and I distinctly remember the robotics team, the newly formed robotics team, being the only team at Club Week to pass out lollipops. And that was a big draw for a lot of people, and it drew me in. And it was ultimately the thing that got me to join the team. But I was on the team all 4 years, my last 2 years being in the leadership group, as you mentioned. And yeah.
I love it. I knew those lollipops would pay off. So what did you do after you finished school? You finished high school. We know you graduated from high school. So what did you do after that?
Yeah, so after I graduated high school, I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo up here on the Central Coast. And it was there that I took a major you probably don't see too many FIRST alumni doing, which was bioresource and agricultural engineering. I went into that department and originally started out kind of doing a lot of the same things I did on my first team. I was working with I was part of a club that did precision automation of agriculture. So like reading sensors and the color of a fruit and deciding whether or not to pick the fruit, that sort of thing, which was really cool. But I knew, having had the experience from FIRST, that it wasn't for me. And so from there, I kind of decided to branch out and try a few different things. I was part of the quarter scale tractor design team, where you build if you've ever seen a tractor pull, there's these giant machines, and these are 1/4 the scale, so not quite as impressive, but we machine all the gearboxes and stuff by hand. So it's a really cool experience. And while I love my time doing that, I also knew that it wasn't for me. And so from there, I kind of moved on to the other large aspect of the agricultural engineering department at Cal Poly, which is water resources. And I ended up working my last 2 years there at the Irrigation Training and Research Center, excuse me, where I did lots of cool hydraulics and hydrology and flow measurement research and stuff like that. And then once I was done with that, I actually stayed at Cal Poly for another year to get my master's degree in civil and environmental engineering. I felt that it would kind of broaden my horizons a little bit. And shortly after that, I took a position with Wallace Group, which is a consulting firm here on the Central Coast that does water-related infrastructure projects for public and private clients and all up and down the Central Coast, so Monterey County, San Luis Obispo County. And yeah, I actually recently returned to Cal Poly. Actually, I'm teaching a few irrigation labs as well. So we get to go out there with the students and, touch the dirt, get wet, spray people with sprinklers, stuff like that.
So you actually started out with a certain focus and then changed several times until you found what you wanted. But I kind of heard that you were saying that what you did in robotics helped you very much to determine what you wanted to do today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all related to engineering, right? And I enjoyed the engineering that I did with FIRST immensely, but I wanted to try other things because I knew that there was other stuff out there. And I found the thing that really worked for me.
Awesome. And another thing is, it does not surprise me that you become a teacher. Tell us a little bit about what you did with 3925, because we were such a new team and kind of a little bit fractured. And even though you came in as a freshman, you came in with a bang. And tell us kind of what you
Sure.
did, help us get focused.
Well, I think Team 3925, one of its big strengths was that we had a lot of students from really diverse backgrounds, diverse skill sets. Not everybody on Team 3925 was working on the robot all the time. And I think that we had a lot of leaders on our team, people that were technically skilled, people that knew how to run machines. And so I felt like my niche was to be able to facilitate communications between those teams, between you and the team, and be able to sort of bolster that kind of business plan aspect of FIRST and the professionalism of it.
And I
And
think
from
that's,
there, we grew into mentoring programs at the Boys and Girls Club. We did reading children's book day for the English classes at the high school we were centralized at.
and I think that it's kind of comical that you say between me and the team, because you were so helpful to me in many, many ways. And I want to thank you for that. I think if I, and I don't know if you were still there, but we won the Entrepreneurship Award a couple of times. And I know that that's due to your leadership in that area. And I think you are to be commended for that.
Thank you. I don't know if I was there for that one, but I'll take the credit.
2 years in a row, 2 years in a row, you should know. So what, if you were to look back at yourself, at your 18-year-old self, what would you tell yourself?
I think that I would tell myself, life changes a lot after you leave high school. It's a lot different way you engage with just the world. I know something that I needed to hear at 18 was that nobody's coming to tell you to do your homework or to eat well or to shower or to, do any of these things. And there's a point at which you have to decide, what you need to do for yourself and what you need to do to invest in your future self and have sort of a discipline about that.
I think that's very true. Just self-discipline is very important. And you learn that along the way, which obviously you have. You obviously helped a lot of people through FIRST, keeping a large team together, because there were, about close to 60 kids, was not an easy task for anyone. And so we know that you helped FIRST, but how did FIRST help you?
FIRST helped me, really by setting me on the path that I am today. I don't think that I would be here or in engineering or have the comfortableness with leaving my comfort zone without the experiences I had in FIRST. You're constantly put in uncomfortable situations that push, just the boundaries of what you're used to, which is the only way people grow. And so I think that being able to be exposed to some of those challenges and being able to just kind of develop those skills was fundamental for me.
And work through them by trial and error, right?
Exactly, yes. Trial and error.
So do you have any advice for current FIRST participants, or maybe a freshman starting out on a robotics team?
I would say don't be afraid to be bold. Don't be afraid to try different things. If there are different aspects to your team, don't assume just because you have some experience doing something mechanical that you wouldn't like doing something electrical or doing something, related to the business plan or any number of things. And don't be afraid to, if you have a good idea, assert it and try and get the team to go along with it. I was always happy when any member of our team felt strongly about something and would come forward and make a case, even if I didn't agree with what they wanted to do.
That's awesome. So do you have a favorite FIRST memory that you'd like to share?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a lot of them. So I gotta pick my favorite.
Don't get me in too much trouble here.
I don't think anything will quite live up to our freshman year, our rookie year, when we went I believe it was a Long Beach regional, and we were still obviously very new team, very unsure of what we had just walked into, didn't really have a super, like present mentoring team or anything like that. Just kind of started from scratch. And then to hear our team announced for the Rookie of the Year award, and then to run down with everybody and, our mascot and jump around down on the stage. That was a high point for sure.
Absolutely. And then I think, didn't you go to World Championships a few more times after that?
I went that year, and I actually went my senior year with Isaac from Team 4711. We went separately,
Awesome.
just by ourselves to go see it.
Oh, awesome. See, students can do that. So in your job, STEM is very present. What is your passion about making sure that STEM gets promoted to younger people?
I think it's really important to focus on STEM in education. There's no, in the foreseeable future, it's not like STEM will ever play a less important role in your life. And I feel that, being able to be taught things earlier, I wish I had been able to been taught coding when I was in kindergarten, for example, and I think so. The integration of more STEM with education kind of keeps us up with the times and lets us be literate in the ever evolving world we're living in.
I understand that. In fact, they are starting to teach STEM and or coding in kindergarten. First, just added this year in their FLL program, a pre-K goes pre-kindergarten through first grade. So that's kind of,
Wow.
yeah, it's amazing. Is there something that most people don't know about you that you'd like to share?
And
But you don't have to, it's up to you.
probably how much of a nerd I am, how much time I spend working on, personal projects for work I probably don't need to spend my free time on, stuff like that.
Well, that's okay though. You've always been very, very focused. Do you have a COVID silver lining that you've noticed a change, or maybe through COVID? I know COVID's been really rough on our teams and rough on our kids.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are definitely tough times with COVID and maybe tough times ahead, but I think that to have such a communal experience between really everybody in the world, and to have to go through the same trials and tribulations, and I think that hope that ultimately it'll make us all a little bit closer and all of us a little bit more understanding to one another.
Oh, that's a great point. And then finally, is there anything that you would like to share with us that we didn't cover?
Man. I think I'll just reiterate my point. If you go into college, or you go into a trade, or you go into your career after high school, just because you like something right now doesn't mean it's the end all be all. There's no reason in filling your plate full at the first station in the buffet. So I would say go ahead, try a little bit of everything, and then you can always come back to what you like.
I love that, Dylan. That's what you've always been famous for, is getting the group together and making everybody feel comfortable. And I just thank you for your time, and continued good luck to you. And thank you for this interview, and thank you for being a part of FIRST.
Thank you for having me.